The United States has always prided itself on the dream of freedom and equality. But in reality, the country is still filled with invisible lines people still live by. We no longer see the old whites only signs, but that does not mean the division is gone. Today, this deep bias is hidden in housing rules that shaped who lived where, gentrification that pushes working class people out, and the family wealth gap. You might see billion-dollar tech headquarters and million-dollar apartments going up in downtown areas. But in these exact same cities, a black family often earns less than half of a white family's income, and life expectancy can drop by up to 20 years. Today, we are breaking down the top 10 U.S. cities that are basically anti-black zones. Before we dive into this eye-opening list, please take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives like this. Now let's jump right in. Number 10. San Francisco, California. San Francisco often presents itself as a capital of progress, freedom, and a mix of cultures. However, population numbers tell a different story. Black residents are disappearing from the city map. In 1970, black residents made up 13.4% of San Francisco's population. By 2024, this number has dropped sharply to just 5%, and many of them live in public housing or face homelessness. That didn't happen by accident. Black residents were priced out, pushed out, and locked out of the city's new money. Take the Fillmore district, once called the Harlem of the West Coast with hundreds of black-owned businesses and jazz clubs. In the 1960s and 70s, the city used urban renewal policies to clear this area, destroying over 4,000 homes and forcing tens of thousands of black residents to move with empty promises of resettlement. Today, that space is filled with artisan coffee shops, million-dollar apartments, and tech workers. The wealth gap here is severe. According to the Economic Policy Institute (EPI), the average income of a white household in the Bay Area is about $130,000 per year, while for a black household, it is under $45,000. Furthermore, while tech jobs are everywhere, black residents often struggle to get these well-paying positions due to unequal access to quality education and quiet bias in the hiring process. Black people make up 5% of the population but account for nearly 40% of the city's homeless population. Under the shadow of the Golden Gate Bridge in Silicon Valley, black people aren't banned from San Francisco. They just can't afford to survive there anymore. Number 9. Austin, Texas. Austin is often praised as a liberal bubble in conservative Texas, famous for its Keep Austin Weird slogan, live music, and cultural festivals. Yet, Austin holds a sad reality. For the past 2 decades, it is the only large U.S. city with a double-digit population growth rate, while its share of black residents has steadily declined, currently sitting under 7.5%. The root of this separation is not hidden. It is clearly written in the city's 1928 master plan. Instead of passing racial segregation laws that would be unconstitutional, Austin used public utility planning by deciding where basic services would go. They decided to provide schools, parks, and basic services for black residents in only one area, east of East Avenue, now Interstate 35. I-35 became a strict dividing line in Texas, splitting the city into 2 worlds. The west side saw growth in money, while the east side was left behind. Ironically, when the tech wave reached Austin, with companies like Tesla, Apple, and Oracle, East Austin became a goldmine for developers. Property taxes in the 78702 zip code, East Austin, have increased by over 400% since 2000. Thousands of black families who had lived there for generations are now forced to sell their homes because they can no longer afford the taxes, moving to faraway suburbs like Pflugerville or Manor. Along with housing issues, schools in longtime black neighborhoods still face funding challenges, offering fewer resources and lower education quality than schools on the west side. Many black residents also report getting judged every day, making them feel like strangers in their changing hometown. In Austin, you can see Black Lives Matter signs on the green lawns of $1.5 million homes, but you might not find the black people who used to live in those very houses. Number 8. Omaha, Nebraska. When people think of racism, they often picture the American South or large East Coast cities, forgetting Midwestern cities like Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha is a clear example of how racism baked into the system can exist quietly but deeply. This city is sharply divided by geography and economy. North Omaha is home to almost the entire black community of the city, about 12% of the total population, while West Omaha is mostly for white residents. According to U.S. Census data, the poverty rate in North Omaha usually hovers around 30 to 35%, 3 times higher than the city's average. Because good jobs are scarce in North Omaha, unemployment remains a major challenge. Sadly, the resulting money pressure sometimes leads to higher local crime rates, which brings more police patrols rather than the real help for the neighborhood and job creation people actually need. Omaha's history is more violent than many realize, with a race riot in 1919 where a white mob hung a black man named Will Brown and burned down the courthouse. Since then, the federal government's redlining policy locked black people into North Omaha by denying them mortgage loans. Today, redlining didn't disappear. It just left fingerprints all over the map. The black homeownership rate in Omaha is under 32%, compared to nearly 70% for white residents. The health divide is also concerning. The life expectancy of a white resident in West Omaha is 11 years higher than a black resident in North Omaha. North Omaha exists as a forgotten neighborhood, full of neighborhoods with no real grocery options. Facing a shortage of clinics, hospitals, and basic care, and surrounded by polluting industrial zones, Omaha might be the hometown of billionaire Warren Buffett and huge financial companies, but that wealth has rarely flowed to the northern part of the city. Number 7, Seattle, Washington. Seattle, home to Amazon, Starbucks, and Microsoft, always projects an image of a highly progressive, environmentally conscious city with left-leaning social policies. However, for the black community, living in Seattle feels like black culture getting pushed out block by block due to the growing tech economy. The center of this change is the Central District, an area that was once the beating heart of black culture in the Pacific Northwest. In the 1970s, the Central District was 73% black. It was the place that nurtured legends like Jimi Hendrix and Quincy Jones. But by 2024, that number has dropped significantly to under 14%. The reason? A harsh combination of historical housing segregation, redlining, and a wave of high-paid tech workers moving into the city. In the past, old housing rules that blocked black buyers prevented black people from buying homes anywhere outside the Central District. When the city boomed thanks to the tech industry, the Central District's prime location made it a target for rebuilding the area for richer newcomers. The typical home price in Seattle has now crossed the $850,000 mark. Black families, unable to withstand the pressure of property taxes and some of the highest living costs in the country, are forced to move to distant southern cities like Kent or Renton. In addition to housing, black students in local public schools frequently face stricter discipline than their peers due to lingering biases. Even educated black professionals who move here for work often experience quiet prejudice in the office, making it hard to feel truly welcome. According to a King County report, black households in Seattle earn only half the median income of white households, yet they are 4 times more likely to face police violence. Seattle might paint giant Black Lives Matter letters on its streets, but in reality, the city has traded much of its black community for glass skyscrapers and tech headquarters. Number 6, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland does not hide its decline under shiny covers like tech cities do. The inequality here is very plain to see. According to a large 2020 study by CityLab, Bloomberg, based on health, economic, and school numbers, Cleveland was ranked as the worst city in America for black women. This is not an overstatement. The median salary for a black woman working full-time in Cleveland is only about $24,000 per year, a number below enough money to live on and much lower than that of white women. Finding a good job is generally difficult because many businesses and resources have left black neighborhoods. This lack of opportunity can lead to higher local crime rates, which unfortunately just creates more unfair stereotypes instead of bringing help to the area. Cleveland's division is shaped by the Cuyahoga River. The east side of the river is home to most of the city's 40% of black population, while the west side is mostly white. The east side is not only full of neighborhoods with no real grocery options, but also the center of a serious health problem: lead poisoning. Thousands of old, poorly maintained homes in black neighborhoods still contain lead paint. Public health data shows that black children in Cleveland are 4 times more likely to suffer from lead poisoning than white children. This can lead to permanent brain damage and affect their ability to learn, creating poverty that keeps repeating. Furthermore, the baby death rate for black residents in Cuyahoga County is 3 times higher than the white baby death rate, a figure more common in developing nations than in the U.S. Living in Cleveland as a black person means fighting against an unhealthy physical environment, financial pressure, and a struggling system of hospitals and doctors. Number 5, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland is a city where racism can not only be felt, but also clearly seen on a map. Dr. Lawrence Brown from Morgan State University created a well-known term to describe the city's layout: the black butterfly and the white L. If you look at Baltimore's population map, wealthy white residents live mostly in the downtown area and along the river heading straight north, forming an L shape. Surrounding the east and west sides of that L are the areas where black residents live, spreading out like the wings of a butterfly. This layout is the result of Baltimore being the first U.S. city to pass a law separating neighborhoods by race in 1910. Even though this law was later canceled, its effects were strengthened by the city not putting money where black people live for decades. Current data is very severe. If you were born in the White L area, like Roland Park, how long you are expected to live is 84 years. But if you're born just a few miles away in the Black Butterfly area, like Upton Druid Heights, life expectancy drops to just 63 years. This 21-year gap is the cost of living in neighborhoods with over 15,000 vacant homes, unchecked gun violence, and dirty water systems. Education is also heavily affected. Many public schools in black neighborhoods lack basic funding, even struggling with proper heating and cooling, which naturally hurts students' chances at better jobs. Since the death of Freddie Gray in 2015 while in police custody, the U.S. Department of Justice issued a report stating that the Baltimore Police Department had a pattern of going after black residents, making arrests that shouldn't have happened, and using too much force. In Baltimore, you don't have to look hard to find a neighborhood split. It has been built into the streets and buildings. Number 4. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is often honored as one of the cities with the greatest architecture and culture in the world, but it also holds the title of being one of the most strictly segregated cities in America. The way the city is laid out effectively maintains inequality. The North Side is a world of well-funded schools, safe streets, and thriving businesses. On the other hand, the South Side and West Side, where the majority of black residents live, have suffered through years of neglect. A classic example of using highways, roads, and city projects for racial division in Chicago is the construction of the Dan Ryan Expressway in the 1950s. Mayor Richard J. Daley intentionally adjusted the design of this large highway to create a physical concrete barrier, directly separating the black neighborhood of Bridgeport from nearby white neighborhoods. The financial damage lasting until today is massive. According to a report by the Urban Institute, the racial wealth gap in Chicago costs the city's economy about $4.4 billion each year. Beyond the wealth gap, that kind of neighborhood split shows up in people's bodies, their stress, their hospitals, and even how long they live. Additionally, while crime rates in some neglected neighborhoods are high due to a lack of jobs, these statistics are often used to unfairly judge the entire black community. The median income of a black family in Chicago is only about 40% of a white family's income. Public schools on the South Side frequently face the risk of closing for good, while police use stop-and-frisk policing, stopping black people at a rate 7 times higher than white people. In Chicago, the line between prosperity and hardship is sometimes just one street away. Number 3, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit was once the pride of the black working class in America, thanks to the booming auto industry, which helped thousands escape poverty. With a black population of nearly 77%, Detroit is often mistakenly seen as a safe place where black people hold power. But the hidden truth is that Detroit has experienced a huge loss of wealth and financial pressure in modern times. When American media praises the Detroit comeback, they are mostly talking about the 7 square miles of the downtown and midtown areas, where white billionaires like Dan Gilbert have invested and attracted young white professionals to live. Meanwhile, in the remaining 132 square miles of the city where the black community lives, there is a deep crisis. From 2010 to 2015, Detroit saw one of the largest property losses in history. The city government overcharged homeowners on property taxes, making them pay rates higher than the state constitution allowed. As a result, over 100,000 families, mostly black, faced foreclosure because they could not afford these unfair taxes, wiping out at least $600 million in generational wealth for the black community. At the same time, local schools have suffered from deep budget cuts, lowering the quality of education for black children. Additionally, the city shut off water for tens of thousands of black households due to unpaid bills, even during the peak of the pandemic, while easily forgiving millions of dollars in debt for golf courses and large businesses. The ongoing stress of losing homes and water, schools, trash pickup, repairs also takes a heavy toll on the community's physical and mental health. In Detroit, local political power cannot always protect black residents from a system working against black residents that seems to take from the poor and benefit big investors. Number 2. Bakersfield, California. Bakersfield is located in California's San Joaquin Valley, a state known for its democratic and progressive policies. But Bakersfield in Kern County operates much like a deep South town from the 1950s. The economy here relies on oil and agriculture, heavily influenced by conservative views and an aggressive police culture. The black population in Bakersfield is only about 8%, yet they are the main targets of one of the most active police departments in the country. According to data from Mapping Police Violence and the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, the Bakersfield Police Department and the Kern County Sheriff's Office once held the record for the highest rate of police killings for its size nationwide, higher than New York or Los Angeles. In these shootings and uses of force, black people make up way more than their share. The issues don't stop at shootings. Black residents in Bakersfield frequently report being pulled over without cause, subjected to illegal searches, and facing open racism from the local white community. These biases also show up in daily life. Finding a well-paying job is a challenge for black residents, and in local schools, black students often face much stricter punishments than others for minor mistakes. Hate groups and white supremacist ideas still have a strong presence in school boards and local government. Bakersfield doesn't cover up its biases with expensive lattes. It shows its power through police patrols and a justice system that seems resistant to any efforts to change things. Number 1. Vidor, Texas. Topping the list is not a major city, but a small town in East Texas named Vidor. While other cities use planning or economics to push black people out, Vidor relies on a history of straight-up intimidation. Vidor has long been known as one of the most notorious sundown towns in American history, places where black people were threatened if they were seen on the streets after sunset. In the past, Vidor was a strong base for the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, in Texas. The fear associated with Vidor is not just in the past, it is in how the town has successfully resisted bringing black families into white areas up to modern times. In 1993, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, tried to force Vidor to integrate by moving a few black families into public housing there. The result? These families faced constant harassment and threats, and the KKK held marches right outside their doors until the last of the black residents left because staying felt dangerous. Because of this deep racism, finding a job here as a black person is nearly impossible, as local businesses are very unlikely to hire them. This lack of work and constant social hostility ensures the town stays exactly as it is. Today, in 2025, Vidor's population is about 10,000, and the black population is 0.1%, meaning you can count them on one hand and they are usually just passing through. Although the racist warning signs have been taken down and the mayor tries to clean up the town's image through media, what the town is really like remains unchanged. For any black person driving on the I-10 highway through this area, there is an unwritten rule passed around. Do not stop for gas, do not stop for food, and pray your car doesn't get a flat tire. Vidor is hard proof that, in some parts of America, time seems to have frozen in the last century. These 10 cities show us that racism isn't just in the past, it's still baked into the system, shaping where people live, work, and survive today. Thank you so much for watching and exploring this difficult but necessary topic with us. We hope this video gave you a clearer view of the invisible lines people still live by in America. Which city's story surprised you the most, or is there another city you think we should look into? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you found this information valuable, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Thank you again, and we will see you in the next video.